Greetings, 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 family. Thank you so much for tuning in. The Melanin Report 360, the Melanin Report 360, the Melanin Report 360. I am your hostess, Deanne. I have a really important discussion for today. So I hope everyone's having a good Friday. It's like blistering heat out here. I was out earlier doing exercise. I went to LA Fitness, and when I came out, and it was like maybe quarter to 11. When I came outside, I was like, OMG. So I had to run and get a salad and this and that, and I am back in the house because it is no joke. I think this is going to be 100 degrees today. It's very dry. It's a little different if you've never lived in the Southwest, because it's not the moisture of the East, because I grew up with that. I was in Atlanta. I was in My kitty cat just jumped on my lap, and that is Bonnie. She's making her debut, so I'm gonna put her down. You don't know about cats because I didn't see that coming, but so anyway, I just I went to the gym, and then I came out. It was like super duper hot, and like I said, it's not like the East Coast hot because you have to factor in the humidity, so it's really dry. Um, so that's why you have water machines everywhere you go. You can take water in, library, anywhere you need to go. You can definitely, no one's going to say you can't bring water in here. So we have that advantage at least. So the beverage today is basil. It's a basil drink, and I forgot. It's raspberry basil, raspberry basil. So it's really good. So let's get into it because I found out a couple of disturbing things yesterday. Let me go ahead and read the fair use disclaimer. And again, happy Friday to everyone listening in. So, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. So thank you so much for allowing me to get that in. I want to make sure I am covering CYA, as they would say. Let me make sure my phones are off. So yeah, my topic today is, mental health. Why do we have mental health in our community? I'm asking why. I know why. We live, if you're black or brown, we live in a racist society. We have a different experience to our white counterparts. And we can toss it up and say it isn't racism, it isn't, it's now a debate, is America racist? Obviously it is. It was started in racism. I mean, we did not have a level playing field when we got here, when we were taken from the shores of Africa and other places. So that is a given. We have the memo, we have that information. But how does it show up in our community? Because I believe there's a percentage of us, so statistically, let's see, 50% of people who have mental illness, it shows up by age 14. So that's enough time to kind of see where you fit or don't fit, and starting to exhibit some of these behaviors. Um, the rest 20, the other 25%, it can kick in by age 24. Age 24. So how do we look at this? So you know, I've had mental illness in my family members. Um, they're still struggling. Some are still struggling. And that person was, say, the last 25%, much later in life. And it's really frightening, because we know the struggle, we know the pain, we're living it. We're living it in real time. So most of us are managing. Absolutely. We go to work, we pay taxes, we don't have a criminal record. That's a large percentage of our people, even though they will say it's not. Even if it's 10%, even if it's 10%, that is a small number, fast forward. So that's for a population, that's a small number, that's doing something else. So many of us pay taxes. Some of us go to church, we do the right thing, every time. Maybe once in a while we miss a beat, and we can self-correction. But in this society, we get all the noise. Now we have the cell phone, which is additional noise. Um, and then we have to cipher all of the chaos and confusion. We talked about United States. They don't know how to be calm, relaxed, no drama, just getting stuff done. That's not how they're put together. This country is not put together like that. So we're going to look at, someone waving a magic wand, like in the Wizard of Oz, and it's going to be back to, normal. We don't have a normal here in this country. We try to humanize these pig police that shoot our people wholesale. And my recommendation again, I mean, I've had some controversial conversations with people here in the Valley, and they're saying, well, if you I talked about it probably last week, recommendation of getting bulletproof vests. And why should we have bulletproof vests? We're going to be bringing that energy in, blah, 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 blah. No, we're going to be saving lives. If Black men, Black girls, Black men, Black boys, white, I'm not talking to white people right now. I'm saying Black and brown people, boys and girls, men and women. We're in a war zone. I don't know how else we can slice it. I don't want to believe we're here, but I see the news probably every other day, sometimes every day. I've been watching BNC. I've been watching Charles Blow, I think he's the prime time. I've been watching him. Really good show, really, really good show. And it's a Black perspective. I appreciate that, because we used to have BET News and Ed Gordon was on and this and that, but that was back in the 80s, 90s. So that's long gone. But getting back to topic, we have been living in this country for decades, centuries. We have not had any reparations. The laws they're going to be passed perhaps, but the fact that the Asian bill, the hate crimes against Asians, That passed. Ours is still on the Senate floor. So this is, if we deal with this over and over, you see it, it's ingrained in your psyche. The result is not all, I'm not trying to say all, but there is a percentage of our people that's mentally ill. Understandably so. We're in a war zone. How can we slice that? How can we say no, toss it up, say no, DM, it's groovy. We're doing our thing. We are not. We are surviving and thriving. And the fact that we have been able to do that with all the opposition known to man, we have been able to do that with all opposition known to man and woman. We are thriving. We have been able to become billionaires. We have been able to own businesses at some level. I mean, we've been doing it in spite of it all. But the energy on this planet, and I'll say specifically United States, it is hostile. It is so many adjectives, but it's very hostile environment if you live in Black and brown bodies. So with that said, we see a percentage of, like I said, 50% of mental illness shows up by age 14, and then the other 25% will show up after age 20. I mean, by age 24, and the last 25%, it comes a little later, you know. I mean, I've had family members, in my immediate family that struggle and still struggling with mental illness. It's real. It's real. So it shows up. How does it show up, Deanne? So it shows up as, I have some notes over here. It shows up as, pain, suffering, anger, obesity. You can't love yourself and not take good care of yourself. That is a form of mental illness. You may, I went to LA Fitness today, and I saw this. She had a gray streak, so she was probably 40s, something like that. And I was happy to see her, LA Fit. I'm just happy to see her, she was on machines and all like that. I didn't want to be, I wanted to pass her my card, but I said, Deanne, don't do that. But, she was probably, I'm going to say really on a low number, I'm going to say 350 pounds. That's probably low. And it's not even the size, but is the consciousness. How can you not take care of your body? This is where you live. This is where you're housed. You don't change garments and bodies. We're not doing that yet. But she would. I'm like I said, I was glad to see her at the LA Fitness. But this is a form. I'm saying 300. It was probably 400, close to 400 pounds. That's what I feel she was. She was African American woman, and I just sent some energy to her, and didn't say anything. I just tried to smile, and I saw her, our eyes kind of caught, but a little smile of like, I see you. I see you. Because right now we're not seeing each other. We're not loving on each other. It's enough that the police, not all, but police officers are bullies, for whatever reason. They know they have the power of the gun, and the great Dr. Francis Cress Welsing talked about the gun and the penis. That's another conversation. But, she connected the dots. This was her book, 1991. I have that book to this day. But, this is something we have to look at. But there is a level of mental illness in our community. It shows up as drug use. Now, if you're healing with cannabis, or if you need a joint, I mean, where is that going? What kind of mindset? I need a joint. I mean, I'm not trying to say anything about marijuana. However, look at the facts. You need to look squarely to your life. And if you are abusing some things, just dig a little deeper with that. Because sometimes there's some stuff around the corner for your reason of use. Alcoholism. We had not going to name any names because, I'm going to protect people. But perhaps if they listen to this, they know who they are. And this was a minister. And I'm trying to just go a little soft. Well, if I go into his occupation, everyone will know who I'm talking about. But he had a 9 to 5. This is when ministers he had a large family, like 5 children or something. He had a wife, and he between the ministerial amount of salary, and I think he was a postal worker. But he was allegedly a functional alcoholic, and he died really young. He was probably, looking back, he was probably late 50s, early 60s, I believe. So this was, I think there was some rumblings in the church and all like that, but this was a man who sought alcohol as, because he was in pain. So we don't look at, let's go and talk to someone, preferably if you're a Black female, go to a sister. If it's a blood brother, if you're a Black brother, go to a Black brother. I'm just saying, they will get it when we talk with them candidly about our experience. They definitely will get it. I've had, over the years, I've had therapists of both white females. I don't think I've had a male, but white females, Black females, but more recent, let's just say since I've been back out here, I haven't been to that young lady. She was really good. She was really, really good. But we need to look at and connect all these dots, because mental illness runs deep. It shows up, alcoholism, we got that, obesity, not taking care of your body, again, alcoholism, same thing, not taking care of, not honoring your temple. This is where we live. Why would you disavow your body? Not eating properly, not resting, drinking, drugging. These are levels of perhaps mental illness. So, drug use, mask as drug use. If you need pills to wake you up, pills to put you to sleep, what is that? That's not normal. So we don't need to follow behind our Caucasian counterparts. We're melanated. We are melanated. So there should be less that we need, but because we live in the belly of the beast, we know we need to compensate. Oh, I need to eat. Oh, I need to, drug. I need the, because that's always a sign. If it's not mental illness, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. So we got to look at that. So I was struck about a, a post that was, there was a young, there was a young brother. It was on BCN News. That's where I go to that news. And it was an honor student that was missing. It wasn't on MSNBC. It wasn't on any of the others. So they're at least trying to, again, we don't have any Amber Alert. We have Amber Alerts for Caucasians. We don't have, I'm not trying to be funny, but we don't have Shaniqua. Shaniqua is missing. We don't have that nudge of like our phones blowing up because Shaniqua is missing. But we don't have that luxury of saying, hey, my phone is buzzing, first thing right now in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, I turn my phone off. I turn my phone off. And when I get up, probably 5 or 6, I wake up really early. I know that, oh, there's an Amber Alert. So it's another white child, white boy, white girl missing. So why don't we have that in our community? So put a pin there. So again, mental illness will mask as drug use, alcoholism, obesity, and there's so many others. So many others. So again, I was going into the conversation of saying on this network, they shined a light on this missing honor student from Buffalo, New York. And so I was like, oh my, and her father was on, and I was like, another, child, what is going on? And blah, 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 blah. Come to find out, fast forward on to Sandra Rose, it was her girlfriend allegedly killed herself I think she was also in Buffalo, and she hung herself from a tree. And they found her because it was right, I guess her cell phone was still pinging in the area, and she was hanging like maybe 50, 75 yards in to the woods, kind of wooded area. They saw her. Now, her girlfriend, this is not the honor student, but her girlfriend jumped off of the Niagara Falls. Honor student. I mean, we are so busy, family. We are so busy buying children, young people, things, tangibles, because that's what they have to have. Sometimes children just need love. They don't want all the stuff. You give it, perhaps you have guilty if the father wasn't present. I don't know that to be the fact, but let's just say if he wasn't present, so he's gifting his child. He hasn't been in the child's life, and he's gifting every day, everywhere you turn. But is he loving her in a way that is kind and gentle and what she needs? I don't think we're talking to our children because everyone's got the cell phone. Everyone has other things. When I sat in the car, the 68 Buick, it was navy blue with a black top, 4-door. It was a tank. That car, I don't even think we had seatbelts. But we didn't have all these things of distractions. So we had conversations in the car. How about that? Everyone's in their own little world. Everyone is texting or emailing or contacting, blah, blah, blah. Enough. We're losing young people by the hundreds. And if these two were on I don't think the girlfriend wasn't on, but the honor student, they showed a spotlight. So when I read the Sandra Rose, they connected the dots of both ladies that committed suicide. Why aren't we talking to our children? This is a generation being lost right now at the hands of media, social media, and the like. This is a shame. We're supposed to be the best country. We got it going on. We can't even keep our children well and safe. Give me a break. I remember when I was young, and that was some years ago. I remember there was a lady. I think her name was Inez. I think she worked as a social worker, and she was my she and my mother were co-workers, and I think his name was Kevin. I think his name was Kevin. I'm not going to say 100%. I remember Kevin. I just think I'm looking and looking in his face right now, and I'm feeling Kevin. That was Kevin. So Kevin was a nice guy, well respected. They lived in, if you know anything about Brooklyn, they were Bed-Stuy. There was a few communities over from yeah, several communities over from us. Beautiful brownstones. I mean, my aunt and uncle, they bought on Sterling Street. They bought a four, I think it was 4 units, and this was back in the 60s, 50s, yeah, 50s, 40s. They were, when they left, the Carolinas, they came up and they didn't have any children, but they had property. They had property. And this was pretty much in a Flatbush area. And so Kevin and his mother lived in like a beautiful brownstone. Oh my gosh. I mean, it was like, it was over there, Hancock Street, because that's where I took piano lessons. When I took piano lessons um, in Brooklyn, it was on Hancock Street. I remember Hancock Street. And so he wasn't too far from this. So you know, these were really, 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 I mean, probably $1.5 million now, if not more. So again, these are single family homes, probably more close to 2 million now. But he committed suicide. I remember him because he and she and his mother and my mother trying to connect us, put us together, whatever. I think he was a Jehovah's Witness. I remember some of that. And when she opened up that door, I don't know, but he was hanging. When you first walk into these homes, they're huge vestibules. And then you walk into the home. And the vestibule, probably like 4 by 6 or somewhere, or 6 by 6. It's a good little area. And that was the first thing she saw. Her son had committed suicide, you know. So this was back in the 70s, you know. This was a long time ago, 70s. And it was a private funeral, I think Jehovah's Witness, they do certain things, so it wasn't so much with the public and all of that. But that struck me. I think he was gay. Looking back, he was, I don't think he had much of an interest in me, but, we would go out on little dates and, but I don't think that was his deal, you know? So are we listening to our children? Are we just shoving stuff and have them occupied? It's a bother. We don't want to engage. We don't want to have a question and answer and just talk. No cell phone this evening. We're going to have a talk. Let's find out a lot about each other. We're not doing that. That's what we have to do. We cannot afford to lose our young people. These were two promising young ladies in college. The one, I think her last name was Dennis. I remember that. So Miss Dennis had a full scholarship to the school that I think it was Buffalo State. Yeah, I think it was Buffalo State, and she got a full ride. And I think it was her second year, and she jumped off of Niagara Falls. I mean, it would. I mean, this is where we are. I'm not trying to blame the parents. I'm not trying to blame anything or anyone, but we have to. These children, they're being sacrificed. They have to go to the other side, at a young age, to maybe we can learn from this and change behavior. Because if they had, I think she was texting someone, 66 times, according to Sandra Rose. I mean, she needed help, but she wasn't getting the help she needed. And the young lady that, I think they were lovers. So what, in 2021, what's the big deal? So we have to look at this. We have to be able to connect all the dots. When we have mental illness, we have to look a little deeper. When we have things like mental illness can cause drug use, abuse, obesity, the list goes on. We have to do that. We have to do that because there's no sense of us losing a half of a generation. That's a generation too much because we're being, Black men unarmed. Before they had a gun. The one guy that the daughter was in the back seat when the pig police officer shot him and killed him in front of his daughter. That's traumatization, whatever the word is. That child will be traumatized. Hopefully she's getting counseling. We have to do our due diligence of getting children in counseling. People who look like us to talk to. We have a lot of professionals in this field. You can definitely get healthy people who can help your children with that trauma. So all of this kind of adds up. And this is the cause. Living in this country, it can really put a number on you if you allow it. And sometimes, if you look around, it's like, oh, I'm overeating right now. What's going on? What's going on? I'm stuffing myself. What is that saying? I need to pull back. Can I pull back? So we need to have some of these conversations, definitely in our community, because we're at war, and the war, mental illness it's taking a lot of people out. It's masking as drug abuse, use. I'm not trying to say I've never smoked a joint, but I don't do it now for like last 15, 20 years. I'm honoring my temple. I went to LA Fitness. I'll go tomorrow. I'm honoring my temple. This is where I'm housed. This is I'm 5'11". This is how I present myself. So this was a very emotional discussion because I felt like those children, they were children. They were young girls. Don't care about sexuality. If the parents cared about that, this is life. Let them live. No shame in their game or anyone's game. So we have to look at this. We have to be proactive. I'm a proponent of wearing bulletproof vests. I'm saying it. If you can invest in Jordans or all these phones, these iPhones that you're in a monthly fee and all like that, I got an Android. I got 2 Androids, do the same thing. So, if your job supplies an iPhone, fine. But Deanne, this is Android, works just as good. So we have to look at this. Some things we can change. The way we can change it is see what self criticism. Like parenting, it's learn as you go. No one, the child isn't come with a set of rules and directions. Like when you get a box of anything new, comes with directions. I usually read the directions. Children don't come with that. I didn't come with that. So I'm still learning as I go, but I'm not using drugs. I'm not overeating. I can go talk to someone for sure. I ain't got no problem with that. The stigma is the problem. Going is not the problem. If you have a stigma, that's between you and whomever. But some of us pray it away. Some of us go to church. If I'm gay, it's gonna make it no more gay, no more gay. Pray. The pastors are praying over folks to get them ungay or whatever the language is. Let these children live in peace. Let them live in peace. There's no stigma, only in your limitations. Because I'm sure those parents would love to have their daughters back. That's real talk. Not blaming anyone, but if it was a hush hush, if children who like the same gender, you should know that. Your child is living with you. You don't know that? So it was a lot of, because I just figured we need to talk about mental illness, the real deal, because we live in the United States of America. It's no wonder we're not all going to therapy, Black and brown people. We've been through it and continue to go through it, because the first thing, they didn't pass the bill or whatever for the George Floyd Police Reform Act. That, according to, I didn't turn on the news today, but I believe it hasn't passed. It's still on the table. We have so much insults in our community. We receive insult after insult on. No wonder a percentage of us are mentally ill. But I'm just saying, please do not have a problem going to talk to someone. It can save your life or someone else's life. Please don't have any shame in your game. Ministers praying over people, they all have some stuff themselves. I haven't met one. That's another conversation. I'll talk about that another time. So thank you so much. I know it's a little heavy this evening. It's Friday, Deanne. It's Friday. I didn't want to talk about it on Friday, but my spirit was like, we need to talk about it, because I have personal family members, that have mental illness. If you're not managing your money, certain things, they don't even care. It's like apathetic. Like whatever. I'm gonna bounce checks all over the city. They don't even care. That's a form of mental illness. Not caring about your finances. Isn't that a form of mental illness? Anyway, I will be back God willing, creek don't rise. Thank you so much for tuning in Monday through Friday, 2:30 Pacific, 2:30, usually about 3, about go to 3:30, like around 40, 45 minutes. A little longer today, but thank you so much, so much, so much. Please share, like, subscribe, for to my channel, and let people know, because I have a lot of people who are not available this time of evening, and they will run the replay later, and that's totally fine. You know, I'm of service. I'm of service. So like, share, subscribe, follow, like, share, subscribe, follow, like, share, subscribe, follow. The Melanin Report 360. I'm Deanne. I'll be back on Monday. And you all stay safe, be well, and please, if you're so inclined, get those bulletproof vests. We can save our lives when we do that. Peace. See you Monday. Peace.